It's a football Saturday in the SEC. Here is the starting lineup. The man with the golden voice, sports savant, Keefer. One of Birmingham's all-time most multi-talented, iconic broadcasters, Tony Curry. Four-time champion Paul Feinbaum show caller contributor, the legend. The illustrious First Lady of SEC football, Terry Quillian. Award-winning national sports handicapper from Las Vegas, Keefer. And now, let's talk football.
Hey everybody, welcome to the starting lineup. Kip Keefer and the legend Tony Curry is on the disabled list with a little bit of a flu bug today, so we won't have Tony's wisdom and contribution. But we're going to soldier on here and have a great time because we've got a special guest. Looking forward to visiting with our longtime friend Seth Crosby, who is with Sasquatch Toys, and it's just about, tis the season.
It is tis the season.
So we are underway with the Christmas season and the Christmas spirit, and you brought some stuff to share with us from the toy store.
I did. We actually, just some of the things that we actually sell at the shop. Loungefly. We also do have comics. The Alabama figure here is really cool. It's from Harbinger Studios.
Oh, man.
And it's fully articulated, and it's just, that is a great Christmas gift. Really, really cool. He's got a bunch of extra hands, so you can actually, pose him to where he's catching a football or, running in for a touchdown, all the good stuff. And then we also have some Funko Pops over here. We also do the Hallmark ornaments, and then we also have some statues and all sorts of things. So
we could probably just go ahead and ticket that for the legend right now, Kip.
Oh, we probably could. Yeah, I'm sure he's probably going to take it from me before I leave. So,
I've seen he's been eyeballing it over there.
Yeah, when I seen Alabama action figure, I first thought of G.I. Joe and Batman, but now we're doing Alabama football action
Roll Tide,
figures.
Baby.
Woo! I'm loving it.
Pretty good stuff. So, Seth, you came on with us about a little over a year ago when we first started cranking up the starting lineup. You were just getting ready to open up the brand new enterprise, Sasquatch Toys. First of all, tell everybody where it is, when you're open. Give them all the big details here.
All right.
I'm gonna be an effective host and make sure everybody has the information they need.
Okay, so we're in West Homewood, so it's at 145 Citation Court. We're open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 to 6. So
11 to 6, awesome. So if you're looking for kind of an unusual thing, for kids and everybody's kids, I still like getting toys. So
100%. I love getting toys.
Just kind of give us the rundown and I know you've got some other things to describe, but I'm sure you've brought kind of a representative group of different things. But if you're looking for gift ideas, give people some guidance what they can expect by coming to your store for something unusual.
Well, basically, honestly, we have a little bit for everybody. So, if you have a huge Star Wars fan in your life, we have a whole room dedicated nothing but to Star Wars.
Oh, cool.
And then, of course, there again, we have a huge wall with nothing but Loungefly backpacks. We have a huge comic book room, and we also do have G.I. Joes. I'm a huge 80s kid, heart to heart. So, we have a ton, all the 80s stuff, 100%. So, Mask, Masters of the Universe. God, the list just goes on and on.
So. That's awesome. So what about this little kind of soft, the backpack thing we've got here?
Yeah, so this is called a Loungefly backpack.
Oh, cool.
And the cool thing about this thing is literally of course this is Gizmo from Gremlins, and but the neat thing, guys, it has just all the different little extra added things to it. Of course, no sunlight, don't feed it after midnight, no water, so it's just a really great that's a great gift idea. And of course, there again, for any Alabama fan, the Alabama figures are amazing. And of course, the comics we do have here, Hulk 181, which is a really rare book. We also have Harley, the first appearance of Harley Quinn as well. It's a nice Boba Fett statue down here on the bottom. And of course, the Pops, Funko Pops, they go all across the board. TV shows, movies, anime, just you name it, they make it. So
So for unique gift ideas, there's probably not a better spot to go than Sasquatch
Oh,
Toys.
100%.
Sounds great. I've got a 4-year-old going on about 40-year-old
Okay.
who already is a sports expert, knows everything. Just ask him. He's a Keefer, what can I say? But what kind of unusual kind of sports ideas? Collectibles are a good thing, or do you have any other kind of sports-oriented toys?
Oh, definitely. Like they actually Funko Pops. They actually do the sports.
Nice.
And then also we actually even have the old starting lineup. I'm sure you remember those, Legend. So yeah. So we have plenty of sports. Sports type toys, that kind of stuff as well. So.
That sounds great. Legend, we need to go shopping next week.
Yeah, I remember you got me a Evil Knievel motorbike. I always wanted one since I was about 10, and you came through for me. So all like the old guys out there like me that ain't really grew up, you know who I'm talking to.
That's right.
You come through for another Evil Knievel or something for them.
Put Legend on your list.
Anybody can always come, and everybody asks for requests, and it might take me a month or two, but I can definitely find it. So
Sasquatch
I have a great
Toys.
network.
That's the spot. Seth Crosby, thank you so much for being here and bringing
Appreciate
such
it,
great
guys.
stuff. We're going to come shopping this week.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back. Legend and I will be on the set talking about playoff football right after this. Welcome, everybody. Kip Keefer and the Legend to talk about the college football playoff, kind of set the tone. This is a weird week, Ledge. We really don't have many games to talk about. We are going to preview the Friday night game, which comes up before we air again next Saturday. That'll be Notre Dame and Indiana. But before we get to that, I've got to give you the opportunity to grieve a little bit, because I promised you last week that the Tide would be dancing, and then I came and repossessed your dancing shoes. So sorry, but the doomsday scenario took place. So what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are this committee is a bunch of morons, a bunch of idiots.
Other than that, they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, other than that, they wasn't too bad. Anytime the chairman of a committee is the AD at Michigan, who, by the way, is the most cheatingest university in the last 50 years of college football. I'm not calling corruption, but I wouldn't want that committee deciding anything for me, Kipper. Nothing. Nothing.
I got you. I mean, yeah, he gets rewarded as chairman after overseeing the biggest cheating scandal in college football in the last 40 years.
How?
It's politics. It's ridiculous.
Come on, Greg Sankey.
You don't need active athletic directors making up that committee. They're not experts. They're bureaucrats. Let's face it. Get former players, get retired coaches, get people from Las Vegas, because who knows more about the quality of teams than Vegas? But of course, that's taboo. That being said, this committee kind of fell into the trap of what we feared all year. The SEC is not going to get a lot of teams, despite the fact that clearly the SEC had 6 or 7 of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, when you look at the NFL draft over the last 10 years, you are looking at a league that has put nearly 300 players into the NFL in the last 10 years. And when you look at the ACC, you're talking about nearly 40 players. 300 to 40, Kipper. There's no doubt about it. When you're talking about the SEC, you're talking about the NFL, and when you're talking about the ACC, you're talking about the CFL. But for some reason, we can see this. But that committee of great experts, the best of the best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
The great minds of college football.
You've got the best.
Couldn't see it.
Your team had Your team had the best win of anybody in the country this year, beating Georgia in Tuscaloosa. They had a terrible loss at the end. It really cost them at Oklahoma.
Don't talk about that, Kip.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot that.
Help me, Bear.
That's on the strike list. But the bottom line is, Alabama left out. It's unfortunate. They should not have been left out, because anyone who wants to tell me that they're not one of the 12 best teams in the country, it's just not the case.
Yeah, I mean, as bad as we played, to say that SMU, Arizona State, Boise State, Indiana, even though Notre Dame and Penn State in that mix, to say any of them is better than not only Alabama, but Ole Miss and South Carolina. Let's just put it out on the table and be real and get down where the get real's at. All right, let's get real. All 3 of them SEC teams are better than the teams they got in there. What kind of playoff? Are we running a make-believe college? Is this fantasy football? This make-believe stuff now.
Well,
SMU's as good as the SEC. All right, I believe it. Make-believe. Let's watch Bugs Bunny. Make-believe.
the teams we do have, Oregon, the only undefeated team, they get rewarded by being the top seed by having to play probably two of the other three best teams in the entire thing, whoever wins Ohio State and Tennessee. That tells you right there how messed up this is.
Yeah, when you look at the bracket, Penn State has to play SMU and Boise State to get to the Final Four.
That's crazy.
That right there tells you how stupid this committee is. They can't even seed this thing, much more than arrange it. Y'all can't even seed it. And y'all the best of the brilliant minds. I mean, I wish I could just go in the room and just start slapping people, Kipper.
We're going to talk about Indiana and Notre Dame here a little bit later. We got to wrap this segment up and get on to some other things. Case Keefer's be coming along, and of course, the legend is going to be in his cave with more thoughts about the playoff, what might have been and what should have been. We'll be right back right after this timeout.
Step back into the groove and then into the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Check this out. It's all happening here.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino is the local place to win.
Good times right here.
Let the Birmingham Racecourse Casino bring the good times to you. The Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where the good times roll.
Where you could be a winner too. Yeah, boy.
Oh, welcome to the Legend Cave where few men have ever stood. I'm talking Elvis. I'm talking Ronnie Van Zant, baby. I'm talking Snoop Dogg. And, of course, the man that's got a suite all the way in the back. Keefer, the man that just hangs out with the legend because he's my main dude. I love this dude right here. This dude is a legend. He's a legend.
Yeah,
Kipper, welcome to the cave, man. I'm a little pumped up. I'm a little mad. I'm a little stressed. I've been to my psychiatrist about this playoff, and I just need some help, Kipper. Help me, help me.
I don't know how you're going to... I'm worried about my man, the legend. Since I hadn't been feeling real good, I think we need to get him some medical attention. We've been flying him to Tijuana for some psychiatric help to try to deal with Alabama being excluded from the playoffs.
Kip, explain to me how a team with the 60th strength schedule, 0-2 against top 25 teams. How does a team like that overcome a team that's 3-1 against the top 25 and got a top 10 strength of schedule? What was this committee smoking? Was y'all on crack? Was y'all doing the hard stuff? What was going on in that committee room, Kipper?
Well, they were the last game on, so that was their attention span. This team looks pretty good. Plus, what's up with Dabo and Greg McElroy, both Alabama graduates, both Alabama legends? Dabo says, I'll tell you right now, that's a playoff team over there. And then McElroy comes and goes, if SMU were to get in, that would be a great thing for the growth of college football. These guys are Benedict Arnolds.
You wonder about GMAC. My least favorite, I'm just going to say it, my least favorite Alabama quarterback of all time. All right, I just said it, G-Mac. There it is. It's out there. I've been holding it in my heart all this time. Now it's out there, Kipper. You brought it out of me, brother. It's a psychiatrist's fault. He told me to take better medication, Kipper. He told me to take better medication. What are they doing to Alabama? How can they have a playoff without Alabama in it? I'm losing it. Help me, Kipper. Go ahead. Keep talking to the people, Kipper.
I wish I could.
Somebody get the padded room.
I wish I could console you, but it's really difficult to do, and it's really hard to justify. SMU wasn't playing number 1 Oregon in that game with their gallant comeback. They got behind. They made a big comeback. Good for them. But they're playing 3-loss Clemson, who the committee only ranked as the 17th best team. This was not a great effort, and they didn't win the game. I thought wins and losses meant something.
That's what got me about Heather Dennett. She said, I was sitting there, and at halftime, I had SMU out, and they made this great comeback, and I put them back in. I'm thinking, they weren't playing the Kansas City Chiefs. They were playing the Clemson Tigers, who they was favored over. They're supposed to come back. I mean, what in the world? You college football playoff committee, you have disgrace. I'm spitting. You have disgraced fans out here on the sidewalk. You disgraced us.
We just watched Shane Beamer's team beat Clemson the week before.
Oh, my Lord. This is pathetic. It's pathetic. From the playoff committee, listen, from me and Kipper, we say it's just a game, don't be sports insane, but all y'all are sports insane. That's just a fact, Kipper.
No
Kipper,
doubt.
we play Michigan. Do you care?
Yeah, well, I don't. I don't like Michigan. Michigan's 7-5. Alabama should pound them if they have anybody show up for that game. I hope they come down in force and show the country what a terrible mistake this committee made, just like Georgia did to Florida State last year, 6-3.
Remember, it's just a game. Don't be like Keefer and the legend. The psychiatrist just told me in my ear, we're both sports insane.
Legend in the SEC, where there are 16 teams in the league, only 3 good enough for the playoffs, according to the committee. 13 teams out of the 16 bowl eligible. Pretty strong stuff. And that gives us a lot of excitement because we've got other programs on the radio. Jocks 94.5 is the home. And on Saturday mornings, 8 to 10, before the kickoff of all the big games, we have Kip and Terry Game Time, which you do not want to miss. The show's in its first year. It blew up this year. And one of the big reasons why is this guy, the 9 o'clock hour, every Saturday, the legend comes on. And it's not really the legend that you're used to, because when you get right down to the brass tacks, the X's and O's, this is one of the best sports and football analysts in the business, and we love having you on that show.
I'm going to tell you, the Game Time show is blowing up. This man and the First Lady, I want you to know this is the #1 sports show in America every Saturday morning. Don, Bama Hater, the legend, the callers are outstanding, the hosts are outstanding. If you ain't listening, you missing.
We've also been on Sunday mornings for 8 years. This is our 8th season on Jocks 94.5. It is the morning after. And every week we come on from 9 to 11. We get to sleep in that extra hour on Sunday. That's pretty awesome.
Extra hour, need it.
But this past week with Alabama in the deliberation situation, everybody, I want to thank so many people who, our phone lines were completely jammed from the time we came on the air to the time we left. Morning After is a huge hit, as has been on the landscape, the longest running sports show in Birmingham radio. And the Morning After will be with us all the way through the end of the college football season. As we wind down this college football playoffs without Alabama, but I guess we're just going to have to wait till next year. And how you feeling about next year, man?
Well, I want to tell you something, Coach DeBoer. You get a pass. Year 2. I don't know if you're going to get that pass, brother. I'm just letting you know. Letting you know, if I missed the playoff 2 years in a row.
I promised Legend he'd be dancing. You let me down,
This man ain't never let me down. Ain't never lied to me. You made him out to be a fibber. You DeBoer.
Catch our shows Saturday 8 to 10, Sunday 9 to 10, Jocks 94.5.
Hey, it's Case Keefer, Assistant Sports Editor for Greenspun Media Group, which includes the Las Vegas Sun, longtime sports bettor and sports betting writer. And I hate to say it's true, I went 0 on the show last week. No winnings as far as the football plays I gave out. The first time this year that has happened. It hurt, but it wasn't a total disaster because we swept the board otherwise with the 2 bonus plays I gave out on other sports. Now, I'm going to say that's not the only reason why I'm holding the basketball, not even the primary reason, but it's because we have tried to keep this segment topical to what's going on in Las Vegas here over the last month, and it has been very profitable to do so. We crushed some big college basketball that was going on out here. We cashed a ticket on the F1 race, and last week the under on UFC 310. That was easy money, and hopefully we saved the best for last week. Hopefully have a big future that's going to cash this weekend. The NBA Cup going down today at T-Mobile Arena. Now, if you remember about a month ago, I gave out 2 futures on the event. One of them, the Oklahoma City Thunder, plus 825. Well, now they're down to plus 125, and excuse me, they were actually plus 850 at the time I gave them out on the show. All they got to do is get past the Rockets today, and then hopefully either the Hawks or the Bucks on Monday, and we will have a big future to cash on the show. I'll try to give out one more bet on the NBA Cup at the end. I actually thought this might be a heavier NBA segment today on the show, just because not too much football going on until next week. But you look at the schedule, there's a bunch of bowl games. There's, of course, Army-Navy today. I could have gone all football here, but I'm going to keep mixing in some other things. But let's first get 3 football plays out of the way, and then we'll get on to basketball. And as I mentioned, Army-Navy today. I like a side and a total in this game. Not something I usually like to do. I'm not going to give them both out on the show, but the one I like better, I think, right now is the total. Give me over 38, Army and Navy. Now, there's one reason why this is so deflated, and if you have bet college football at all, I'm sure you know what it is. It's that when service academies get together, games tend to go under. If you have bet every service academy under over the last 15, 20 years, you're probably on an island right now. But here's the thing about trends. They are meant to end. They are not predictive going forward. You look at these teams' statistical profiles this year, specifically what they've done on offense, and they are scoring at a much higher clip than this. So I really think that you ditch historical precedent here. This number should easily be in the 40s, and I honestly think it's going to get there. I think by the time you're watching this, I think the people that bet a little more seriously with the bigger bets once limits are increased, they're going to be betting over. This will settle somewhere in the 40s. So I would take this all the way up to 40 right now. Right now, 38 the best number on the board. A lot of 38s and a halves, a lot of 39s. I wouldn't go too far, but I do like the over today between Navy and Army. Let's get to one bowl game in the next few days, and we are also sticking kind of topical to Las Vegas here, inadvertent, but we are going to the LA Bowl presented by Gronk, where Cal is taking on UNLV. Two teams we've backed multiple times on the show this year here. Now, Cal got all the way up to like a 4.5-point favorite when the matchup was first announced. But then, huge news right before recording, Fernando Mendoza, their quarterback, has hit the transfer portal. Kind of ironic when he went viral just a couple weeks ago for leading that long, I think it was like an 85-yard drive to beat Stanford in the big game, and talked about how much it meant to him playing with his brothers. Well, it must not have meant that much because he is out of here. And it is a big loss, but it goes all the way down to Cal -1.5 now, and I don't think it's as big of a loss as UNLV coach Barry Odom saying goodbye, departing to Purdue, which as an aside, I don't really get. It's not because I'm a Las Vegas guy, and yeah, he did do great things for UNLV, but this guy was a hot commodity. I feel like you stick around one more year, you can get a better job than Purdue. I just don't know if Purdue is going to be able to compete in this new era of college football, but that's all on the side. I do think it plays in, though, here. I think it's going to be tough without Odom. UNLV, I've been saying all year, has way more talent than I think people realize. They got some guys that are in the NFL. They already have some opt-outs. Some guys say they're going to play, but how long are they going to play? Are they going to play a half, less than a half? I think Cal at only -1.5. They lose Mendoza, but otherwise they've lost fewer guys than UNLV. I would lay it here with Cal. And finally, a college football future. I am going to take Notre Dame to reach the college football playoff championship game at +450. This is simply way too high. Sometimes you got to put your personal feelings aside and just look at the math of it. Notre Dame is not going to be an underdog in any game, any potential matchup until the college football playoff championship. Now, I know people are saying, well, what about Georgia? Well, I mean, this is not an opinion. This is factual. You can find lines on the Georgia game. Notre Dame, a 2.5-point favorite right now. Why? That's all because of Gunnar Stockton. You could say, okay, well, Georgia's going to take some action. That will change. Sure, maybe they take some action to change. It's not going to change more than like 3 points. Then you make Notre Dame a 1.5-point favorite. Do the parlay math between this game against Indiana, where they're a 7.5-point favorite, into basically you can convince me a coin flip game with Georgia. Then Penn State, SMU, or Boise State. Put all those together. You're not getting anywhere close to 450. I gave out Georgia as a future at the beginning of the year on the show. I still kind of like the Bulldogs, but I think I'm going to protect myself a little bit and add Notre Dame here. 2 basketball bonus plays to end it. I know I've been riding these SEC teams, but I'm going to flip it this week. I guess I'm Mr. Anti-SEC. Give me Illinois at home against Tennessee today, the number 1 team in the nation. I think Illinois plays really smart. They got these big guys that can do everything, these international guys. I think they're going to give Tennessee a little bit better look. I didn't love what I saw from Tennessee at MSG against Miami. I think they go down today. Give me Illinois +3 or better after we cashed Kentucky +6 or better last week against Gonzaga. And I got to give you an NBA Cup play. I think we've gone a little bit too far. These games have been intense. They've been going under, but the trends, again, gone too far. Over 213.5 in Oklahoma City, Houston in the semifinals today. These teams have played twice this year, and the totals have been in the 220s. I know it's intense. The defense is ratcheted up, but give me the over. Let's get it done, Thunder. Thanks for checking out another edition of Vegas Heaters.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the starting lineup. Kip Keefer and the legend, Tony Curry. If you're just tuning in, out a little ill this week. Hope Tony gets fixed up before the big playoff weekend. Next weekend, he'll be back with us. And we're also missing Terry Quillian today, who's
Miss you, First Lady.
In the process of a big move in Texas. She'll be back for sure next week on the playoffs. So we're having to carry the load today, Legend. That's fine. We are in kind of an unusual scheduling circumstance. This being Saturday morning, only one game in the college football landscape today. Army-Navy, and I know the Legend brothers rode Army-Navy pretty hard this year. So what are your thoughts on the big military showdown in Boston today?
Well, I just got off the phone with David Legend. David Legend has been so on fire this year. They have built a statue of him down in Carbon Hill, in the town square of Carbon Hill. David Legend likes Army today. You can't go against the David Legend. He's been on fire, baby. He's on fire!
Jeff Monken has done a great job there. If that name sounds familiar, remember Todd Monken was the Georgia offensive coordinator who's now calling the plays for the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. So the Monken brothers have a pretty good thing going. This is the best both service academies have been maybe in our lifetime.
Yeah, I love what they've done this year. It's been a real treat to watch. And, man, I'm excited for the game. I ain't been excited for too many Army-Navy games other than all the pageant. You know, I love the pageantry. But the actual game ought to be a good one this year.
Well, I may have already kind of given it away in the Vegas Heaters segment, but I like Notre Dame in the first college football playoff game on Friday against Indiana before next week, where we can break down all of the college football playoff games. Now, I would have loved to have seen this Notre Dame-Indiana matchup more midseason, a month or two ago, where Indiana really felt invincible. I think they were kind of peaking then. They felt great about themselves. Notre Dame, meanwhile, was kind of figuring out how to navigate all their injuries, figuring out the best way to use Jeremiah Love. I think they've got all that down now, and I could see this game getting a little bit out of hand. I made Notre Dame closer to a 10-point favorite. At the time of recording, they've dipped all the way to -7. I think that is a great bet. The Irish get a national best 9th straight cover to start the college football playoff.
Very interesting, just the way our schedule works, being on Saturday. The first playoff game is actually Friday night this coming week, so we won't be back with you until that game has been played. It's very interesting how that drew out. It is Indiana and Notre Dame at Notre Dame Stadium. Touchdown Jesus is right there in the background. All of the Titans and history that have run on that field. But these are teams right in the same state, just an hour or two away, that never play each other. So that's kind of intriguing right off the bat.
Yeah, the good thing, Indiana, is you made the playoffs. The bad news is enjoy it, because it will never happen again in your lifetime. Notre Dame will beat you down, and all the world will know that Alabama should have had that spot.
Well, you know, here's a dirty little secret about Indiana that a lot of you might not realize. Indiana was supposed to play at Louisville this year as one of their non-conference games, and Louisville was a pretty good team. They caused some trouble, beat some good teams, but they bought their way out of that game to weaken their schedule to give them a better chance to make the college football playoff. It cost them $2 million to buy Louisville out and replace them, get ready for this, with Western Illinois. Western Illinois is not even in the MAC or any of those little conferences. I think Western Illinois is some kind of a small prairie school somewhere, but that's who they've traded, and it worked out because they've spent $2 million, and here they're in the playoffs because they played nobody. They played Ohio State. That's their only quality opponent, and they got blown out. This team has no business being in the playoffs, so you don't expect much from them Friday night against Notre Dame.
No, I expect Notre Dame. Raleigh Leonard, a massive offensive line, a massive defensive line. Look for Notre Dame to make a deep run into this tournament. With Georgia missing Carson Beck, I wouldn't be surprised if Notre Dame don't go all the way to the Final Four to meet a Penn State team that only has to beat SMU and Boise State to make the Final Four. That's how crazy this committee is.
Of course, next Saturday when we come to you, we're going to be able to preview all of the games next week, including the clashes of SMU playing Penn State and the other first-round games that are coming up. So we'll have all that for you next Saturday. Again, apologize, the schedule didn't really cooperate with our schedule this week, but we're just trying to get you ready for all the action to come on college football playoff.